What are we here for? What do you truly want? When change is not enough, what do you do? What are we here for? What do you truly want? When change is not enough, what do you do? Let's talk about it, the problems we face. Let's fight hatred, no time to waste. The mind is naked, we can see it without an x-ray. Life is easy if we work together. We're the keepers, we're the people, we're all equal, filled with purpose. The past has pain, it'll drive you, even make you take aim. But together is where we should aim. Together is where we should. What are we here for? What do you truly want? When change is not enough, what do you do?
Welcome back to another edition of the Be Forever Cool podcast. My name is Fortyfive. What a weekend. Daytona 200. Welcome everyone to the podcast. We'll bring the guys in a little bit, introduce them, see how their weekend was. But what a weekend, or week was for me. Daytona 200 is pretty exciting to be there. It's one thing to be there as a fan. It's a different thing to be there on the other side of it. Very excited about it, and can't wait to chop it up with the guys. It was good to see Lewis and Reese in person. As much as we do this thing, we got a whole bunch of things going on in our lives, so it makes it not always nice to be in the same place at the exact same time. So that was pretty cool to see. And we'll chop it up with them and see what it was. I want to thank all the people for liking, for subscribing, for commenting. Please continue to do that. It makes what we do easier on our end by just a little bit. So we love the engagement. We love what everyone's been saying and talking about and all that fun stuff. But I'm not going to continue to ramble on about that because we got a lot to talk about in Motor America. We got a lot to talk about in MotoGP, World Superbike, and all that fun stuff. So let's bring the people in. What's going on, Lewis, man? How you doing tonight?
Hey, good, Rexy. Nice seeing you again. Been a couple of days since I saw you. But good to see you again. Good time. Anytime we can all get together, it's always fun to just hang out in person. We don't do it too often, but it's cool when it happens.
No doubt, man, for sure. Hopefully you got out in time and got to all the spots you had to get to. The weather was pretty nice for Daytona, man.
Yeah, I was surprised because I was there earlier in the week. We had a bit of rain. The week before, we had a little bit of rain in the days leading up to the Daytona, but from the Thursday through the Saturday, the weather was great, man. It was hot, but it wasn't too hot, and it stayed dry. There was a little bit of a breeze, so it was just it was good, man.
Nice,
I can't complain.
All right, man, we're gonna dive into it soon, man. TJ, man, what's good, man? How you doing, man? How's the bean?
We got the Sunday daylight saving change, so I feel like now we're back to normal. Snow's melting, weather is in the 60s finally, but a couple of days it's gonna go back down. But it's looking good. It's looking good. It was nice watching the Daytona 200 for this weekend because no World Superbike, no MotoGP. So just to have something on the weekend is definitely good to see. And now that Motor America's about to kick off, so
No doubt, man. No doubt. I'm a little bit not necessarily disappointed about daylight savings. I mean, I saw that where is it? West Coast of Canada over there. They did away with daylight savings. I don't know if all of Canada did away with it, and there's something nice about doing away with it. Jamaica did away with it. Some other places have done away with it as well. I don't know if Jamaica ever had it actually. It's just a certain time of the year we knew we lined up with the U.S. on the East Coast side. What are your thoughts on daylight saving times, guys? Should the U.S. just? I mean, I know it's been on the ballot. This is the most political the show will ever get to talk about daylight savings time. But what are your thoughts, man? Is it time for us to just kick this one down the road? End of life. Start with TJ, man.
I mean, I'm sick of it. Like I feel like just living in New England. Once it changes into daylight savings, and then it's just like for me, it's just like dark times. I mean, not dark times, but it's just dark all the time, and just can't really get nothing done on my end. And it's just so as soon as we get out, I just feel like you just feel free. I just think we should get away with it. Like I mean, there's a point for it, but I don't see the point. But
it was for farming back in the day. Is how I understood it, and we were helping the farmers out. Seems like again, it's not that kind of show. Flip over to the other channel, but Louis,
flip over to the Discovery Channel. This isn't our jam. Well, remember, not every state participates in daylight savings. Hawaii and Arizona don't participate in daylight savings, and neither do most of the American.
Islands.
So it's only the mainland and Alaska, and in Alaska it doesn't matter because it's still going to be 12 days of nighttime and 12 days a day, 12 hours of daytime over there because they just in the wrong part of the planet.
Yeah. Nah, I feel you there, man. It's hopefully we'll get there. I didn't like it this time around. I like it when we fall back. We should just continue to fall back, but I don't think that'll work. Maybe Fat Joe. Guys, Motor America happened. TJ, hopefully you got to watch it. We were fortunate to be there in person. What are your thoughts? We'll start with Louis because he was on the ground. What are your thoughts with it? I don't know if I asked on the show, did you go last year? And what are your thoughts as far as the atmosphere between last year and this year? What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, it was there last year. I mean, last year it felt like there were more competitors. I don't know if it's because they moved everybody to the garages on the right side only. Because last year I think they used garages on both sides, so it felt more spread out and there was more to do. And this year they only used the garages on the right-hand side, and everybody's kind of cluttered together. And some of the teams were actually in a parking lot, in the overflow lot, because they couldn't even get garages.
Right.
So for whatever reason, they kind of squeezed it down into that spot. Overall, I think the attendance was close to what it was last year. Like for some reason, I feel last year there was more people, but maybe it was because it was more spread out. So as you walked around, it looked like there was more people, but I felt that there were more people last year than this year, actually at the race itself, because it's hard to tell who's there for the race and who's there just to use the campgrounds for their trailers to hang out for the weekend.
Well, I mean, I was still, I was wondering about camping and stuff like that. Can you camp out and get on the premises without having a ticket to enter? You
can get infield parking tickets.
Only.
Okay.
All right.
So you can rent the spot for the week, and it has nothing to do with the events themselves.
Right. Well, listen, man, if that's the case, and this is more for the people that come to Daytona, man, that's cheap. That's cheap because I paid $20 a night. I had my own trailer. I had my own amenities, but they do provide bathrooms and shower. So $20 a night is going to be cheaper than a hotel. I mean, you got to do your own cooking or figure that out. But still, I mean, at that rate, man, you can't go wrong.
Less roaches.
Exactly. You know what you brought, for sure.
You brought the same amount of critters that you're taking with you. Because I stayed at a sketchy hotel, man. Like I told you, my experience in my hotel, I have never stayed there again.
Oh man, listen, man.
Sorry to hear.
I like having the amenities with me if you can do it. It's a longer drive, but it's a nicer peace of mind. TJ, man, what are your thoughts as Reese is getting connected? What are your thoughts on checking out the 200? We haven't even talked about the race yet. What are your thoughts overall on the 200, man?
I thought it was, you know, actually a pretty good race to see. The obviously Josh Herron trying to go for his fifth Daytona 200 win, so it was exciting to see that. But there was also other riders that I was excited to see out there, like Richie, Kayla, Darren Bender is even out there. So like, there's a lot of uh, solid races that had a chance. Blake Davis, but overall, I thought the race was pretty nice. It was one red flag, but it's a couple shakeups between was it PJ Jacobson and Josh Herron, but it came out into Josh Herron's hand. He got lucky on that, but it was a good race overall.
Yeah.
It sucks to see Richie go down, and felt like this was his year. But it was exciting to see.
Right. It doesn't seem like it's been anybody's year for a few years. Now,
He had a better chance, I would say. After
yeah.
his past two faults.
I mean, I
feel
think
like
TJ
this
may disagree with that one. Reese, man, what's good, man? Can you hear us? I don't know where you are in the world. This witness protection program that's under.
Nah, man. I'm in North Carolina. I'm up here near Lewis, not too far from Lewis.
Okay, all right, man. You might as well pull up in the driveway, man. Let that
Right? Pull this semi right in this driveway. Be like, here you go, man. I got something for you.
Not like hearing a diesel run all night. Trust me, I know. I know about that. What's good, man? What are your thoughts? I was just asking the guys their overall thoughts on the weekend and stuff like that. We haven't talked about qualifying and who were the big surprises and then the race or anything like that. But what were your thoughts on the atmosphere? I make the assumption that you were there last year between this year. Anything stood out to you?
I mean, I think the weekend overall was good. I mean, I think there was a lot of red flags throughout the weekend. There was a ton of those. But for the most part, I think it was good. There was a lot of new faces, a lot of people there. The fan base wasn't too bad. I know they did a bunch of advertisement, and the races were pretty good. To see new faces all in it, and to see Kayla up there and be the first woman to actually hit a podium out there in Daytona.
Yeah. I mean, I guess let's talk about that. That is the first. I mean, it is. We'll jump back into qualifying and stuff like that. But that's pretty impressive. I mean, we've been talking all of last year about Kayla and some of these other riders in the super sport class. Obviously, Herron is really a super bike racer, and it's more. I don't want to say. When people say they got cheetah bikes, we got a cheetah rider because you really need to be up there on the big bikes out of respect at this point. But you know what I mean? For her to be able to do that, I've been on record, or at least on this show, so we're on record of saying that I felt like she should have jumped over to the WCR and stuff like that. She's on record of saying she wants to compete with the boys. For her to finish third on the podium, maybe she might have been fifth if a couple of people stayed up, PJ and Richie. But even still, that's a pretty amazing races because there's still a whole 32 grid or whatever grid that didn't finish in front of her. So it's huge. It sounds like she should just get in where she fit in, which is in the super sport class with the guys.
I mean, good.
No, go ahead, Reese. We start with you.
I mean, no, that's fine. I mean, I think she's growing up. As they say, I think she's definitely growing up. She's showing her potential. I know Speeds has said that she has a lot of potential. She's willing to work hard. She works hard on her craft. From what I understand, she has a whole racetrack out in front, and I know she does work with JP out there a lot. So, but but she's showing her potential. I mean, she's still got a little bit more growing out to do, like anybody else does when they're new or they're young. But she's coming along very nicely, and I think they're grooming, Speeds and JP over there. I think they're grooming that girl very well, and she's showing her craft and showing her talent.
All
So
right.
I give her 10 thumbs up.
I agree. TJ, what are your thoughts, man, on how she did and getting that third place? And she's stunning a lot of people, a lot of mofos.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I agree with Reese. I give her two thumbs up. I mean, this girl has been working hard. You can see it from way back when. And every year she's only improved. Like she's always pulling out the stats, always setting, a trend, and she did really well. I remember last year when she participated in this, she pitted a little early on her first go round. I think the way they had the setup, and I'm sure their strategy was way different. And when the race started, excuse me, when the race started, she was, top six, running, running with the front, and behind her was, separated. So, but she kind of lost a toe, and kept ahead in the game, and racing is racing. She was fortunate to get that third place, and it's just a good feeling to see that. For her,
Listen, TJ, I don't know. I mean, I thought Sasquatch was out in like Yellowstone or something like that. You got 2 thumbs, and I think Reese said 10 thumbs. So I don't know if it's the same thing, man. You got some big thumbs.
Hey, man, I did say 10, but I give her props, man. You got to give the girl her props.
No doubt there. So TJ got some thumbs on him. That's all I'm saying. Numbers guy, what's cool, man? What are your thoughts on how she did?
She did great. I think there was a couple of people that showed up this round that did really well or did better than what most people expected. She was definitely one of those people that I don't think anybody expected her to be on the podium. I think most people expected her to be in that top 10 range, but not necessarily on the podium. But again, this is one of those races where your pit stop strategy and how smooth your pit stop goes and all these other factors come into play. And all of a sudden, somebody that was maybe in the lower half of the top 10 is in the upper half in the top 10 just because you and your team scheduled the pit stops the right way, you manage the tires the right way. Kind of everything has to come together for the Daytona. It's not just the rider and pure talent. It's the rider, his team, the tires, the fuel strategy. Everything's got to line up. And, Josh Herron doing this on a different team than he did last year just shows one thing, that the team he's on makes this team, this Ray Hall team, is legit. They have 3 riders in the top 5. That means that their pit stops were on point. That means that they knew exactly what they were doing. And if PJ had not gone down, they could have had 4 people in the top 5. So this Ray Hall team is legit. This is the real deal. These guys are coming to play, and they're coming to play right. And Kayla, is benefiting from this. It's helping her grow her talent. Josh Herron benefited from it because had he been on another team, maybe it didn't work out as well. Look at where kind of technically his replacement at Warhorse ended up outside of the top 5. Could Josh Herron make up that difference? Probably not, because the same issues that they had during the pit stops for that rider could have happened to him, So, a lot of things had to come together here, and they came together great for Kayla. And, I give her a lot of props for being able to benefit and take advantage of the opportunity that was given to her and get herself on the podium. Because think about who's right behind her, man. Darren Binder. That's not a slouch.
No.
Last time I checked, he's a pretty good rider.
Yeah. And I was just going to go to that because we're going to jump into qualifying. Who stood out more? Was it Herron? Was it Tyler Scott? Ben Bender, who again to me was very surprising. I know when Petrucci came, Petrucci was to me, and you guys can correct me as far as the analytics, was the first rider to me that came over from MotoGP. In Bender's case, it's Moto2, not to come over, but to come over and do well right away. Come over
Tony Elias.
Okay, so there you go. So and how many years, and how long ago was that before that, right? But there's not a lot. There's some other riders that have come over and haven't done well over in the U.S. And for Bender to come over, who struggled in MotoGP, who also struggled in Moto2, right? I mean, he did well in Moto3, but that's why he got that leap to MotoGP, but struggled in both those categories. And so you don't really know what you're getting in a rider that's psychologically, physically, he's a racer, right? You don't know what you get. So for him to come out and do what he did and finish 4th overall, but just to be in the top 3 in qualifying, to me, that was pretty impressive, for a younger Moto2 rider. But again, what were your thoughts on qualifying? Do you guys agree with that? Do you think that some other riders was Alexandro, some of these other guys, surprised you? I will say this: a lot of the fast people were really young this weekend. You start with TJ.
Yeah. I mean, I'll catch a little bit of the qualifying, but Tyler Scott, obviously I've seen him race locally, so it was good to see him on the pole. And not to say not Josh Herring, but wanted to see somebody else out there. So I really thought Tyler Scott had a chance, and I wanted to see DeMario do well. So I mean, I thought the qualifier was pretty tight for the first top 3. So it could have went either way. But it was good to see it kind of finish the sign the same way. Josh Herring, Tyler Scott, and I think it was
Right.
who was second? Was it PJ? PJ, I believe.
In what? Qualifying?
Yeah.
I'm
I think it was PJ.
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 I think it was PJ.
Yeah,
So it's Tyler,
right?
PJ, and Herring.
Okay. Go ahead, Reese.
I mean, I definitely agree with TJ there. I mean, it was nice to see all the young guys up front. I mean, it was nice to see their hunger, that there's still a passion to win the infamous and famous Daytona for all the young guys, and to try to beat the veterans, as you want to call it, to be up there. And the one that did stand out to me is Lewis's guy DeMario. To be still fresh, to be never really been on, like, he's been on the track, but he's not in the super sport category, to have that many laps. He did impress me a lot. I knew Ty Scott would be there to party. Herring, the normal front runners would be there, but to see like the young guys, wanting to step up and be there and take reign was actually something. To even see Blake up there, as he was struggling so much in qualifying, and still take home a top 10, and with Dominic Doyle, all the guys that haven't been there. So
Right.
I definitely say that there was something there. So I was very impressed.
It's pretty. I don't know what the word is, but I was surprised that people like Hickman, that these guys are world class winning racers, and continues to struggle for him at the Daytona 200, and some of these other riders as well, where you got Alexandra come in as a rookie on the super sport bike, and is doing pretty well. So it's pretty crazy to see. Lewis, what are your thoughts, man?
I mean, I'm gonna stay on Alessandro's side throughout this entire season. I think of everybody in the top 10, and of course Darren Bender is a little bit of a more seasoned rider. He's ridden a lot of things, and he's on a really good team. So I didn't think he was going to do. I didn't think he was going to finish outside the top 10. Finishing in the top 4 was a great result for him. But overall, if I look at the top 10, the person that impressed me the most is Alessandro. Here's a kid that's a 3-time Moto America champion, on the Twins Cup twice and on the Kramer Cup last year. He's won 3 championships. The kid steps up to super sport. His very first event out of the box, he finishes in 5th place behind just veterans. Josh Herring, veteran. Tyler Scott, veteran. Darrell Bender, ex Moto 3, ex Moto 2, ex MotoGP. And Caleb, she's been on the bike now for 2 years.
2 years. Yeah.
So, for him to come up and this is his first race in the class, first time racing in Daytona in the class. I mean, he did well last year in the Twins Cup, but to finish in fifth place on the same lap. So he's not one lap down. He finished on the same lap as Josh Herrin. Like that alone is a huge accomplishment. And I think once now you take the unknown, which is the Daytona pit stops, out of it, and you just put this kid to straight up race on track where he just has to do this many laps on a set of tires and a set of gas, I think it's really going to show a lot of people the quality of rider he is. Because a lot of people don't realize exactly how good this kid is, man. This kid is the truth. And if he stays on two and he stays calm and he keeps his head in the game, you're going to see this kid battling at the front for the entire year.
Man, that's pretty dope to hear, and I'm looking forward to seeing the season progress. Let's talk about Josh and what he did. Let's talk about PJ, the struggles there, and Richie. The Daytona 200 is a different animal, right? Because you have to survive the 57. I think I'm right in saying 57 laps. I know it's in the 50s. You got to survive, as you guys mentioned, the pit stops and stuff like that. This year, it was a mandatory 3 pit stops. And so it's not just riding the bike. It's not just the skills. It's how your team work as one overall. Was it plain as day? Because Josh. Did Josh have something to prove? I mean, he really was just kind of like, let me show you the difference between me and everybody else. Start with PJ.
Yeah, I mean, he is the dark horse. I mean, like everybody knows everybody's business, I'm sure, and for him to just come out and still prove like forget all that news talk, I can still ride and race and get my first place, and I'm sure there's a lot on his shoulders. He had a lot to prove. But yeah, it's just a big milestone to win it 4 years in a row and to have a total of 5. Like he's basically up there at the top. So yeah, there was a big race for Josh Herring, and I mean he got the blueprint basically. I mean he's done it so many times and he knows exactly what to do. He just got to have the right team behind him and just gotta make sure he stays ahead of everybody. I think the biggest thing was him getting out front. So as long as he was on the front row, I'm sure he was satisfied. But each time, like after the first red flag, he was still able to get out front, and that's what you want to basically try to wear people out, I guess. But he paced himself throughout the 57 laps or whatever it is. So.
Right. Reese, man, what are your thoughts? I mean, he did seem to play it cool when he had to, and it looks like, it's the kind of right racer you'd want on a bike in a situation like that. He's tied with the most wins, consecutive wins, and it's pretty impressive. I didn't think he was going to be able to do it at the beginning of the weekend. What are your thoughts, man?
I mean, for what he's done over the weekend, I mean, I think he did very well. I mean, he's got that track down pat. I mean, he's definitely got it down. He definitely knows that track inside and out. So it's like he almost had like an axe to grind versus anybody else.
Right.
Like he was out to prove, which as anybody that's very competitive as himself, Josh very well. He is very competitive. So when you have that axe to grind, you're out to prove somebody wrong, and that he's still able to do what he's able to do at now at his age and as a seasoned veteran. Like Josh is not a young pup no more. He's older, so he has things to prove and want to show, especially to the team, the new team and his old team that let him go.
All right. Lewis, man, what are your thoughts? We've seen other riders find new life after not being able to hold on to their seat and stuff like that. So this is a good way for a guy to say, hey, look, man, I still can ride. I'm still fast.
I mean, it's a good platform to him to keep himself relevant, to see if a superbike seat opens up next year, or even if a superbike seat becomes available this year. If somebody gets hurt and there's an opportunity for him to slide in, I think that's a good way for him to go about it, to keep himself relevant, to keep himself in the racing atmosphere in the pit. So I think it's good for him. At the same time, I was kind of a little bit happy at the end of last year when, I'm not going to call them sandbaggers because it's not like they had a chance, but PJ and Schultz, I mean, these are superbike guys and they're racing against 17-year-olds.
Right.
And it's good because the 17-year-olds see exactly what the level is in superbike, so they have to keep up to it. But at a certain point, like, you do want to have super sport, younger people in super sport competing with each other and bringing up that next era, that next generation of what will be our superbike people, what will be the people that we cheer for. And if we keep getting this round robin where superbike guys get dropped to super sport, and now they clean up in super sport because they should, because they're veterans, they've won. I mean, Josh Herron finished second in the championship last year in superbike.
Mm-hmm.
If he finishes 8th this year in super sport, that's not a good look for him. It's expected for him to finish first or second this year in super sport because he should, because that's where he's at. That's where his level is. So, if he finishes first, like, yeah, it's a championship, but I'm going to be looking at who finishes second, because to me, that's the future.
Right. No, I agree, and I've said this before. With other riders coming from top class and coming down and taking a not necessary advantage, but it is an advantage because you have more experience than somebody who's never gone. It's not like everyone in the super sport class has gone to superbike for a few seasons and came back down. It's a different experience, and different reaction time. Kayla was not the only female to race in the Daytona 200. The youngest female ever, Ella Drea, raced. She finished 26th overall. Looked pretty good on the MB.
16th.
She finished 16th overall.
16th overall. Yeah, man.
Oh, my bad. I'm looking at the championship sheet here, and she's. Oh, you know why? Because there may be some other races, but it said 26 by her name. But anyway, we'll go with what you said. 16th overall, even better. And this is off of Moto America's website. So
and it's on an MV Agusta, so that should count by about 10 more spots, because I'm amazed that bike didn't blow up.
Hey, listen, man, I'm a fan of MV. Come on, don't do that.
I am also, but I've never had good experiences with them. They've taken a lot of trips to the mechanic and taken months to fix every time. So I'm just her and her brother both finished in the top 12 and 16. Both on MV Agustas. So
okay.
Both of them did it. The first brother and sister to do this, race together, first brother and sister to finish in the top 20. First two MV Agustas to finish a race and without blowing up outside of the top 20. So a lot of firsts.
But that's pretty impressive, right? I mean, we got some big solid names on the grid and stuff like that. And for her as a 16-year-old to come out and finish 16th, and again, I can copy and paste this because it's Moto America that's I'm looking at. But that's pretty impressive. What are your thoughts, TJ, on how Ella Drea did, and the brother? But we're talking about the female. It's March. It's Women's Month in March.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's definitely a good rider and definitely young and upcoming. And it's good to see more females, competing with the guys. And yeah, for her to be 16 and go to Daytona and do what she did, I think it's a great milestone. And it's even better when you have a family member. So to have her brother participate, and they like Lewis said, be basically both of them top 20 is a cool experience. And yeah, just knowing that she was also in the race with Kayla, it makes probably uh, more confident, and I'm sure she had her head straight on. But that I guess this sounded really good. They had her going by a few times, watching it on live, and she was moving out there. So um, couple red flags, and it's good that she wasn't involved with that either. So, and I think she had a good ride.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Reese, man, what are your thoughts? I mean, it's this is one of the sports where it doesn't matter that I think the sex you are. You can definitely finish on top, and it may have been different a few years ago, but we're seeing these young ladies now that are beating some veterans. So I don't necessarily know if I don't want to say you don't need the WCR. I think we may just need next 5-10 years. It may be like 20 LJ and Kayla, or maybe more.
You never know. I mean, it's nice to see the women in our sport and take some advantage of what they got and try to be aggressive. You never know. I mean, we might get some more coming in here. I mean, they're not like you said a WCR, but um, we do have like Mallory over there, Mallory Dobbs. She's over there. Um, so you never know. You may have more women, wanting to go over there and go over to the sport. You still have Michaela that's over here that was very dominant. Um, that's sitting out right now, but yeah, there I think that from what I see, the potential is high. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I definitely say, sky's the limit for a lot of these new girls coming in, and I think coming here in the next couple of years, you may see more wanting to come play with the boys.
Okay, no doubt. Before we move on to World Superbike and MotoGP, one last thing, guys. Uh, PJ looked good, and it could have been a different story for PJ. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, he's in the Superbike series this year, so for him, it's not a knock against him. It's almost, I don't want to say a free ride, but it doesn't count towards a Superbike point. So him not finishing other than pride and knowing that you had the potential to finish in front, it gotta suck, right, guys? What are your thoughts, TJ?
Yeah, I mean, it's gotta suck. I'm sure like fatigue had to set in at this point. And he's always up front runner, so he's not used to lappers that often. But to get caught up behind a lapper and find a way around them, and then just tuck the front in front of him, it was kind of disappointing to see that he did that and being in first place. So like I think it was just a fatigue thing and just trying to finish it out. I thought he had it, and he had a great ride the whole race. So you know, I'm sure obviously it doesn't count, but I'm sure he's going to be very strong when the season starts.
Right, right. Reese, what are your thoughts, man? He kicking rocks today. What are your thoughts?
mm, nah, I mean, he's ready for the next level coming here in April. I mean, he looked very, very good, man. He looks strong as heck, man. So, I mean, I think right now you look at the bigger picture, and move forward from there. I don't think he's kicking rocks. I mean, I think he's a little upset with himself, but I mean, you got to move on and get ready for the next big dance, which is coming.
Right. Is that just bad luck or lack of experience? Should I don't remember this. If they did, should have been a blue flag to the back markers. What are your thoughts, man?
I mean, it could have been some blue flags. I mean, it could have been a bunch of stuff. Um, I mean, I've seen it, but you got to look at it. PJ was ahead of him when he crashed,
Mhm.
and maybe he just had a mental breakdown and tucked grabbed too much lean angle, too much anything. I got to go back and look at it again.
Hmm.
But I mean, that could just be a mental breakdown right there. That as far as when fatigue sets in, you do start having mental breakdowns when that fatigue hits.
Okay. All right. Lewis, man, what are your thoughts on the situation there with PJ? And is it, it's just racing and this is no different than, I mean, for a guy that hasn't won it and back to back to back to back, I mean, it still got to hurt.
I mean, I'm sure it hurts, but you know what? The race isn't over until you complete all the laps. And if you take a different line because you're trying to pass a back marker, even if they have the blue flags waving, the back marker tries not to impede you, but the back marker doesn't have to stop, put its kickstand down, make sure you go by, put gas in your bike, make sure your tires are okay, and then they can proceed. You're a faster rider. There's a reason you're lapping him. You should lap him, pass him, and keep going and do it correctly. And he has nobody to blame but himself. He decided this is the corner I'm going to pass him. He had plenty of room to work with, so it's not like he had, an impending threat directly behind him. He just chose to go in. He went a little too hot, took a different line than everybody else takes through that corner, probably used a little bit too much edge grip on a tire that already had a lot of laps on it, and he ended up, sliding the bike out. Like, you're going to be racing in Superbike. Nobody's going to let you by. You need to be able to get by and keep your concentration and make the next couple of corners and do this. This is racecraft, and it's not like he's new to racing. He's been doing this a long time, man. So for him to throw it away on the last lap, he has nobody to blame but himself. With that said, it doesn't count towards the point in Superbike. As far as I know, he didn't get hurt, so he should be ready to go come Road Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And just kind of like, put this in your rearview mirror, keep going. It's a one and done. It doesn't count towards my point. It'd be cool to have a watch. It'd be cool to be on that list of names. It would have been cool to keep Josh Herron from winning his whatever in a row. All of that would have been cool, but woulda, shoulda, coulda, didn't. Move on to the Superbike season and see what you can do. But if he thinks that last year he had a rough time with Schultz in Supersport, oh man, you're going to have a long, long season in Superbike because ain't nobody going to let you slide by. You better be ready for some elbows in your ribs and getting punted off the track on a regular if you think anybody's going to give you even an inch.
It sounds like those are the things that Reach want to say, but since they're going to be competing next year, he's keeping it.
I got no skin in the game. I can say what I want, man.
He can say what he want. I can't. There's just certain things I can and can't say.
I realize the difference in the tone.
I got more bass. I got more bass when I talk.
It's just kind of like, oh man, let's give this guy some training wheels.
Yippee, skippity doopy. Nah.
This is racing is rubbing is racing, as they say. Oh,
that's what they say.
Because some people in the comments are saying that's just straight from a TV show and not necessarily real life. But
nah, rubbing is racing, man.
It's in real life too, man.
It's real life. Trust me, you going to turn one off the grid, you are bumping people.
No doubt there. All right, guys. I don't know which order to go with, but we'll go with let's go World Superbike because I think they just had testing yesterday. Am I looking at that calendar right? They had testing yesterday. Is that right? In Portimao?
Yep.
All right. It seems like both lows are back, but it sounds like both lows crashed out.
Normal.
What do I say? Mid-season form.
They're in season form. Alex Lowe's looked like he was the fastest. I mean, we talk about testing and so forth. This is, one race has already happened, so I gotta assume at this point testing matters. It's not, you're not just kicking the wheels, making sure the ergos are right and all those fun stuff. Now it's just kind of like, how do we shave tents off, right? So this is more serious, it's fair to say. And we got two brothers that look pretty good. Bulga is looking pretty good, crashed out. The Dixons of the world and the Samcat and some of these other guys and Petrucci, these guys are going to have to figure some things out. What are your thoughts, TJ? I don't know if you caught any of that.
Not as much, but the young guys definitely going to have to step it up, like the Chantres, because, they missed the first race. So I think it was mixed conditions out there as well. So, but yeah, it was good to see the Lowe's brothers, still be relevant. I guess people say mid-season form because they seem to do well and then somehow end up in the grass. Just hopefully everyone figures out a little bit because they had a lot of time off as well.
Yeah, it's like a lot of time off. They don't race again until a couple of weeks. So
So it's also good to stay in that season form and to have all your data and what you need for the bike. So I think the testing was definitely important, but as far as like timing, I don't think that was really important for this test.
Okay. What are your thoughts, Reese, on that? I mean, you guys do a lot of testing here as well. May have less restrictions than World Superbike. After the first round, having the test, is it the engineer saying yeah we were right, or the rider saying yeah we were right? What are you guys trying to figure out?
I mean, you go back to the drawing board from day one. I mean, from race one, we take the data that you have from race one, and you kind of see where you need to readjust yourself or readjust the bike or figure some stuff out. I mean, normally it's going to be kind of a mixture of both. It's going to be the rider trying to either change up some riding style or trying to change up certain things. And then there's also going to be the engineer, then your crew chief, um, trying to come up with something to actually give you a better feel in the front end or a better feel in the rear or just an overall better feel overall on the bike. It depends on which way you need to go. If you need to go more in the front, you need to go, more in the rear. So it's going to be our overall combination, and that's where it comes down to learning how to master your craft and be able to talk to your crew chief. Because if you can't talk to them right or can't explain certain things, when it's just where you're chasing your tail.
Right. Now, if from an engineering standpoint, if one rider is faster in certain corners or sectors or overall, do you try to tell the other riders to do what he's doing? I'm simplifying it, obviously, or is it more still like you got everybody's in their own corners and they're kind of working out the bits and then coming together after?
Well, everybody's kind of still, and we're kind of trying to work together because here's the thing. I mean, one rider could be a little raked out in the front where the other rider can be pulled back a little bit. So the front end could be pulled back a little bit. It could be +2 in the front on one rider and -1 or +1 on the other rider in the front being raked out. So you may try to figure out certain things and try to be like, okay, well, he's faster in this corner. Why? So his bike is set up just a tad bit different than yours. Let's try doing this versus this. Let's try to set your bike up maybe a little bit like this one and see if that will help out a little bit. Maybe we'll, rake it out a little bit in the front or we'll stretch it out more in the rear, depending on what the situation is. Maybe you're not getting enough edge grip. Maybe you're not getting enough grip in the rear. Maybe you're not getting enough grip coming out of the corner, or maybe you're pushing the front end too much. So it's going to be a whole bunch of different scenarios on what that's going to play out in.
Okay. I did say Dixon was going to be out there, but I think Ray's covering for Dixon right now.
Yep.
Lewis, man,
Yep.
what are your thoughts on the testing? Is Luca doing the best he can do? Should he be trying to be a little bit closer to Bulaga to keep a job, make a difference? What can Oliveira do to other than just keep riding the BMW street bike?
I mean, looking at the top 9, just the fact that the top 9 are within a second, it's nice to see that there's a lot of competitive bikes within that second. Obviously, there's several BMWs, several Ducatis, and 2 Biamotas, and the 1 Honda. So to see them all within that 1 second is good to see. It still shows that there's certain people that need to step up a little bit more, because 0.3 of a second seems like 0.3 of a second, but 0.3 of a second over a 26 lap race, you got stretched. So, it's not just who can do the fastest 1 lap or who can do the most consistent laps across the distance of a race within like a 0.3 of a second to a half a second split lap after lap after lap. Because nobody can really move the needle beyond that. You're within that 0.3 of a second every single lap. You might pull a super fast lap out of your ass because you're behind somebody and you get a draft and you get a half a second of a slingshot or something like that. But most riders race within that 2 to 0.3 of a second to half a second lap after lap after lap consistency. So most of these guys in the top 9 would actually be very close to competitive in a full race. Miguel Oliveira is right where I think he should be because I believe, like I've told you several times, he is the best rider on a BMW. I think BMW putting Danilo Petrucci on that bike was a waste of a seat. I'll say that until I'm blue in the face or until he wins a championship. I'm probably going to be right on that one before he wins a championship. Iker Laguna, he needs to kind of keep stepping forward. I mean, he was only 2/10 or so slower than Nicolo Bulaga, but it's a test. I don't think Nicolo Bulaga was trying to set the fastest lap of the weekend or a personal best. I think he was out there testing different things because, again, the V4 is technically a new bike this year because of the swing arm and some of the new pieces. So he's probably trying to squeeze every 10th he can out of the bike. And crashing is not high on his list. It's consistency, trying to fix the bike, trying to see what they can do to get it that extra step, that extra step, that extra step. Overall, I think this shows good possibilities for this year to be competitive for everybody except Yamaha. Because Yamaha's outside the top 10, and I don't see them breaking the top 10 because they're in the 142s, and the guys at the pointy end of the spears are 140, 141. And I don't see them finding a second between now and the next race.
I didn't touch Yamaha in Motor America because they struggled there as well. So I didn't want to bring them up in World Superbike either. But
well, they're going to struggle all year this year, Motor America, especially on that R9, because they took away their concessions. And without the concessions they had last year, they're at a serious deficit in traction, and that's leading to a serious deficit in speed, straight line speed, corner exit, everything else. So with Motor America taking away the swing arm that they were using last year, forcing them to use the swing arm that comes on the R9, which is not as long as the swing arm they were using last year, so they can't get that extra grip, mechanical grip. And with Ducati V2s, a fleet of Ducati V2s in front of them, they're going to have a long, long season, man, of looking at the bike of Ducatis.
Yeah. Let's jump to MotoGP. Speaking of long seasons, let's start with, Marquez deciding to not make a decision to sign a contract with Ducati yet. What's going on there, guys? Is this something on Marquez? Is him to get more money? What are your thoughts, TJ?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just.
You're opening your briefcase. I mean, it took a little while there. What's going on?
No, I think my mic was muted. But yeah, I think he's just weighing his options. He's not just gonna jump into the first deal he sees. He's smart enough, and he's coming from Honda, who's had a lot of money, and he's already proved that he's a winner. He jumped to a satellite and to now a factory and won a championship after what he's been through. So going into a new season, it's going to be kind of strange for everybody, but he's not just going to just jump into a contract.
Let me ask you this, man. This man's been signing many contracts for a long time now.
Yeah, yes.
Here's a team that's brought you from the brink of whatever you were going through and put you back on the precipice. And they offer you something. I can't imagine Ducati's coming here with only 6 shrimps, 2 lobster tail, and a couple of crab legs. They got to be sending the whole buffet, man. Like, I mean, this is bad. This is bad for this guy to be like, nah, I ain't gonna sign right now.
I mean, he's probably thinking like, all right, if I sign, what's the project looking like from 2027 to 2029? Like, what are we gonna do? What's the plan?
Mm-hmm.
So he's deep diving right now, and it's part of the Rossi mentality as well. It's like he can really take his talent somewhere else and still be good. He's just that guy right now. So, but I mean, he's just waiting. He's just waiting a little bit for more money.
Reese, man, you hearing this talk, man? If you Ducati, you worried? I mean, come on, man. You gave this guy a lifeline.
I mean, you could be worried a little bit. I mean, he could also, you got to remember, Marquez is at that age now. He has really nothing to prove. He has nothing left to show or prove. I mean, he's just coming off of another injury, another surgery. He could, it could be a point in time, like especially with his, he promises his grandfather, hey, I'm going to do this. But now that he's at that age, he's got a serious girlfriend now. He could just be at the age like, man, I'm going to see how I feel at the end of this year, health wise, and be like, maybe I can be done. I can retire now. You never know. He could be at that point. He
Okay.
could just be literally at that point. Like it's nothing left for me to do.
All right, I can understand the walking away thing. All right, so because I was going to say he has to kiss the ring, but if he's thinking about walking away, that could be the only respectable thing to say. Why want to wait? It can't be for I'm not getting enough from Ducati, can it?
No, I mean they're throwing a Brinks truck at that guy. So so nah. I mean he's getting plenty enough from him. I mean I know Ducati, and I've known every year that they throw money at those guys. Lambos and all types of cars, all types of jewelry, everything. So he's got plenty of financial status with them. So no, I think it could be a point of, is it time for me to walk away while I still have my health?
Lewis, I know it must make your ears cringe to hear
Numbers.
Reese say just throw money at stuff, throw money at stuff, throw money at stuff. Because when I assume if you had to sign Marquez, you will have a number, and you're gonna sit here and say, no matter what, I'm not crossing that line.
And you know what happens when he says no? You go back and be like, all right, how far can I cross that line? Because here's the deal. When he left Honda, he was making $25 million a year. He went to Grassini making less than, I think, $6 million a year. He went to Ducati, I believe, making $12 million a year. So there's a couple of factors here. One, his age. He's 33 years old. How many more years does he physically have that he can continue to race and take the punishment of racing? If he thinks he can take 2 more years, then he's going to want a max contract for 2 years, because that gives him the opportunity to meet the championship record of the most titles, gives him the opportunity with the best bike. So money is a factor. His health is a factor. And if he wants to retire a Ducati rider, then it needs to be a contract that meets the requirement for the amount of years he thinks he's going to do this. If Marquez was going to retire, I seriously doubt he's going to announce his retirement in July.
Right.
Like he'll announce it at the beginning of the season, just like Rossi did, so they can have a full year of just kissing his ass everywhere he goes. And whether you hate him or love him, MotoGP will do a whole big farewell thing for him the entire season. And then it'll end in Jerez with a championship lap of his own where everybody shakes his hand. And that's the way to go out, man. You don't say in August, I'm retiring in September.
Right.
You make sure you squeeze every dime of it, because guess what? That last year, you're going to sell this shit out of your merch. You're going to have special shirts. Last shirt at Coda, last shirt here. It's just money, man. Don't leave money on the table. And in the great words of the immortal Latrell Sprewell, how is he supposed to feed his family with only $17 million?
That's right. It's tough, and it's just weird to see, because we don't know, right? And that's not a phrase I like to use in life in general, much less on camera, because we don't know. I don't necessarily need to know what the man is doing, but I have a nagging suspicion that Ducati could get caught with their pants down.
I don't think there's anywhere else for him to go. I don't think Aprilia is going to back up as big a Brinks truck. I don't think they have as big a Brinks truck as Audi. They don't have as big a Brinks truck as Audi. Nobody's floating them that way. KTM, they don't have a Brinks truck. Their Brinks truck is managed by somebody else now. So they got to ask 3 other people before they can take, a loan out to get a loan.
Right.
Honda is probably not going to offer him what he wants, and he's probably not going to want to go back to Honda unless it's crazy money, because at this point is he really racing for money? He's racing for stats at this point. Money is nice. He's just padding his stats. He's doing what LeBron James does, except he's actually good at it, and he doesn't need to stay around 40 years playing to pad his stats to try to make himself look great.
Oh,
he's going to do it. He's going to do it in 12 years.
I mean, I'm a Jordan fan, but stop it.
Come on, man. I'm at 47 years old. He's like, yo, I'm the number one scoring guy. You should be. You've been playing for 40 years.
Listen, man. Some people don't like to be home every day.
I mean, I've seen his kids. I wouldn't want to be home either. They look like pains in the asses. But then he'd bring his kid to work. So what the hell, man?
Listen, man, you gotta show a way to the top. We got racing in a couple of weeks. I hope you're right. I will say this about Audi, their parent company is Volkswagen. Volkswagen got a class action suit. So
they always got a class action suit. They settled it.
Fair enough.
They had a class action shoot a couple years ago because they set up their cars to pass inspection by running differently when they were getting inspected. So it made it look like they had less emissions. And when somebody found the software that was buried in their ECU, they got a multi-billion-dollar fine for polluting, and they settled it.
Yeah,
they're still selling cars.
That was 10 years ago now.
But they're still selling cars. You want to tell me they didn't find another way to bury that software somewhere else?
KTM needs to hire some Volkswagen people.
That they do, man.
Bad business and make money. It's too soon to call out points and scores and all that fun stuff because we got another week before any racing is happening. Brazil's not until the 20th of March, and for MotoGP, and World Superbike is not until the week after that. We just had Moto America, which is very exciting. We do have a lot of club racing that is starting to start up for folks. So, renew your license. And I was thinking about this earlier as I'm starting to pack up because I'm going to go race in a couple of weeks myself. Your transponder. Figure out your transponder, battery, renewal. You don't want to show up the morning of and you go to tech and you can't scan your transponder. Don't do it.
That's one thing I need to renew is my transponder. So yeah, that's on the list. I got to do that, but I should be good. Yeah, that's one. Don't want to be out there without that transponder.
Dude,
I don't want to rent one either.
I'm going in a couple of weeks. I'm already loading the trailer. Bikes are already in the trailer. I might even do a dry run to the track and back just to make sure. That's a bit much, but
yeah. That's extra, man.
No, it's in some cases, but you don't want to be stuck on the side of the road. You don't want to show up and not have the thing like tire warmers. I'm sitting here like I probably got to turn my tire warmers on. I'll make sure they work. Yeah.
There's a AHRMA I think this weekend here down the road from me. I might actually show up.
Yes,
at CMP.
Yep, there is.
Well, maybe I'll show up.
There you go. Scratch the VIN numbers off. You can maybe get into the historic class or the vintage class with that R6.
How would it have to be vintage?
Well, it's weird. I think it's like I don't know if it's years or I know 06 or 07 because one of our buddies, Jim, his bike is I think is a 06, and he races the vintage class. So I don't know. You would think by now the 2012 R6 would be vintage as well, but
I don't know. I mean, if not, I could try to grab the Gixxer and dust the cobwebs off of it. I'd have to get a license first, man. I haven't had a license in years.
Man, just tell them who you are. You get a license.
Yeah, if I tell them who I am, I'm not getting a license. I might not get entry.
You might not. You might not. You might not. Anything before we get out of here, guys? That I missed that we should talk about.
Stay safe out there. The Las Vegas Police Department put out a report that most people in Vegas are crashing because they're not using their front brake, which is great to hear. Front brake is super important.
Yep.
If you don't know that, learn it. And if you don't want to learn it, look for another hobby because without the front brake, you're going to have a long, long time.
Yeah. There's a lot of people don't know that they should be using a front brake. On a motorcycle, they jump on that back brake quick, and you think they would learn it the first time when they slide like 50 feet. But what do I know?
Yeah, I've learned not to use the back brake. I allowed it. That thing locked up on me. Man, nope, never again.
Man, I'm learning how to. I'm trying to learn how to use the back brake now, just for turning. So that's kind of way. I haven't done it in a race yet, but I'm trying. Reese, man, anything any Morse code you want to send out before we let you go?
Nah, man, that's it. Just get ready for the season. Let's get ready for a showdown.
No doubt. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we'll be in the building to check out the second round of the Moto America. First round for you, but second round for Moto America in general.
Who's coming up to Atlanta? You coming up, Rexy, to Atlanta for Moto America?
That's the plan at the moment.
All right, I'll be there also.
All right, no doubt. This time we'll take photos, so we'll prove that we were there together.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I don't think we're social media hogs like that. So we just like each other's company. So it's all good. My name is Rexy. It's the Be Forever Cool podcast. I want to thank TJ with Two Wheels and Coffee, Reese from Attack Yamaha, the real Luis Ortega, the numbers guy. Peace.
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 Peace.